Hi there, welcome back to Needful Prints. It's been a while. Did my first couple of videos last year, just starting out, and then work issues cropped up. So they called a meeting in just before Christmas, actually, and said that the redundancies were on the table. And my position was one of them that was going to be up for redundancy. So that's sort of where it stood at the time. We were told we would find out in January. So I thought I need to hold off, put things on pause for a little bit, and try and get things in order. January came and went. We got no information. So I'm still hanging about, waiting for a decision to find out. But yeah, redundancy is on the table and it seems highly likely. So I'm back now, hopefully try and get this channel going. It has been really good. I'm going to put out a couple of videos, but I managed, in the grand scheme of things, I know it's not a lot, but I managed to just top over 100 subscribers. I know it's not a lot, people with thousands and millions of subscribers, but everyone's got to start somewhere. So hopefully I can start building up that subscriber base, and see where we go. So basically what I want to try and do with this channel is just show what I do on a daily basis. I started an Etsy store and Shopify. Link to website, link to it, needfulprints.co.uk. And I've had one sale, which weirdly came via TikTok rather than directly from the website itself. But with work issues and that, I've not really been able to spend a lot of time concentrating on the online stuff, which is something I need to start doing properly now, get serious about it, because this redundancy could come at any point. So what I'd like to do is sort of go through what I do each day, show you some of the prints I do, some of the things I do for myself, some of the things I do for markets. Done a few markets now, which have been they've been received quite well. I make some sales on there, not enough to give up my day job, which I don't have much choice about really now. But yeah, it's sort of getting me out there. People know me now. So I'll also show a few of the printing techniques that I've sort of learned over the last year of 3D printing, some of the issues, fails, that kind of thing, and how I deal with fails. I don't like throwing failed prints away unless they're past the use. I have shelves full of failed 3D prints, which are fine for me to just have lying around on display, but it's things I wouldn't dream of selling because they're just not up to the standard I want for my prints. I want people to think, Needful Prints, their stuff is quality, it's cheap, it's good quality, and be happy to come and buy from me. So I've learnt a few things from some failed prints. If it's a minor fail, how to fix that, using Bamboo Studio usually, cutting, reattaching parts, reprinting, that kind of thing. And it's, the more fails I get, the more I learn. So fails are a good thing. Not always, and not major fails. I've had some major fails before. I'm terrified when I do overnight prints because I'm not about to monitor it. So I get up in the morning, I sort of walk into the print room with my eyes half shut until I get in front of the printer and see if it's a pile of spaghetti or not. I'll also just go over a little bit about the P2S printer that I got. That was the last one that I bought. I've had a few months of printing with it now, and I'll just give my thoughts on that. Spoiler, I think it's absolutely brilliant printer. So let's get into this and enjoy. Okay, so I've got a few things I want to get printing today. So those that of a certain age that remember Thundercats, I made this not long ago. It was quite a long print, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway, back on track. So yeah, I want to get some prints going today, so I'm going to start getting the printers turned on. So I'll get all the P1S going and the P2S. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using the A1s today. Depends if I get everything going or not. I've got a few games printed that I'm going to get photographed and listed on my Shopify. These are really great. I'll list the designer below in the description, but these are really good games. The prints are so easy, easy to put together, and they're not that long a print, to be honest, but they are really, really good. So I'll get them listed at some point. Also just printed this, which I had every intention of selling at one of the markets I do, but once I'd finished it, I realised it was quite noisy. So that's now going to join my collection of prints that I keep for myself. So I ended up doing a bit of reorganisation in my office. I printed this SCADIS, I think they're called, wall mounting system, which is, I love it. I think it's great. You can just find a solution for something you want to store or keep handy, and it just keeps all my things together handy while I'm sat at my desk. Don't have to keep going in drawers and rummaging through cupboards to find things. And then I also, just something else I printed for myself up there, bit big to take to markets, I think. So I had, when this was a bedroom, I had 2 wardrobes in here before I converted it to an office. We didn't have anywhere else to put the wardrobes, and they didn't really fit with my decor. So as you can see, I'm a big horror fan. So I coated them in these horror movie posters, which I just printed out myself. And then as storage needs grew, I converted them into storage. So now I've got everything I use. And I also did the other one, which is a bit neater than that one, to be fair. So I have a lot of things that I print to put on the website, and then I just have lots of bits and pieces just stored, a few fails and buckets in there. I find it really difficult to get rid of fails. I always think that might come in handy for something, but they never do. But I still don't get rid of them. And of course, an absolutely essential piece of equipment for me is my coffee station. I don't have to walk down 2 floors of the house if I want a coffee, and this gets used a lot. Well, there's going to be a lot of things get changed around in here to give me more room once the redundancy finally comes through. Get rid of a lot of the work stuff, which will give me more space for my stuff. Okay, so I want to print this Fallout power armor today, which is on Maker World. It's a long print on one plate, which I don't want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cut it, get it on multiple plates, and reduce that time down. So let's click open in Bamboo Studio. It's just starting to open up now. Let's see what we can do with it. Right. So this is a 700% scaled up version, all on one plate, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to add another plate and just move that main body across. Let's just give that, let's change some settings on here. I'm going to do it on the P1S on a 0.4 nozzle using Bamboo PLA basic. I'll do it in black because what I want to do once it's printed and put together, I want to use the new product I've just got, which is Rub and Buff, which is like a wax gilding paint, and I think that will look nice doing a nice pewter silver gilding effect on this armour. So first off, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to strength, because these always come up with grid infill and I hate grid. Surefire way of getting your print ruined. I like to use either gyroid or adaptive cubic, so I'm going to use adaptive cubic on this, and I don't think I want 15% infill. We don't need 15%, so I'm going to change that to 10%. So I'll just do a quick slice on that plate and see what time it's coming out at. So I still think it's going to be quite a long print on a 0.4 nozzle, but you don't want to do it on a bigger nozzle for this to risk losing any detail. Slicing's just coming up now. Let's see what it says. So that is saying 11 hours and 22 minutes, which is still a long time. I don't want to set a print going for 11 hours 22 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Prepare tab, and I'm going to cut this and put it on a third plate. So what you want to do is just highlight, select the item, go to the cut tool, which is up here at the top, click cut, and then I want to find a nice place to cut it. So you just grab your little square there and move it up and down, see where you want to cut. I want to cut somewhere mid, but I don't want to go too low because I don't want the legs to be too loose. Basically, I'm going to go up, and I think I'm going to cut just below that line there. But what I want to do is I want to add connectors to connect it there. So I'm going to use a dowel, select dowel up there, and I'm going to stick with, you can have triangle, square, hexagon or circle. I'm going to stick with a circle. You got a bit more leeway when you're putting them together then. And I think I'm going to make it a 10mm dowel. No, I'm not. I'm going to make it 20mm. That's a bit better. Then the depth ratio 3mm. I'm going to go 8mm depth ratio. I'm going to click here, confirm connectors, and I'm going to perform the cut. So what that does there is that's cut that now in two, and then given us a little dowel down here that we can add in when it's printed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another plate, add the body top half to that, move the dowel over there with that, and then let's have a look what this is saying now on the slice. I was just about to finish slicing. So that's down to 7 hours and 22 minutes, so we've saved a bit of time on there. So it's the advantage of having multiple printers. If you only had one printer, then you'd be stuck at a 20+ hour print. But I'm happy with 7 hours 22 minutes. That will put this one at, let's see what this slice is at. So basically the print will take as long as the longest print to print. So I think the lower body is going to be the longest. This one will be, that's at 3 hours, and the plate for the rest of the parts, see how long that takes. So that one's going to take 6 hours. So basically the whole print is going to take 7 hours and 22 minutes on a P1S with a 0.4 nozzle. I may change some of these over to the P2S, but the time's going to be about the same on a 4. I may even have to do one plate on the A1, but the time's not going to be that much different. So what we'll do now is we'll go to the printers, load up some filament and get this printing. One other thing you can do before I go is, if you want to know how much this is going to cost you to print, you go over to your filament on the left, and the little circle on the right of that with 3 dots, if you click that and click edit, so this always comes up at the price of a spool of filament at £24.99. so basically I don't usually pay more than £15 for a roll of filament. Sometimes if I get them from Bamboo Lab in the offers, if you buy enough you get them down to just over £10 a roll, but average is about 15 for what I buy. So if we keep that at £15, and then if we want to see overall what this is going to cost, just on your slice section here, if you click on this box at the top, that will slice all plates, give you a preview of the overall cost and filament usage for the model. So this is coming out at total cost of £5.59, and filament 300 and just nearly 373 grams, which isn't bad. And then you can see there, plate 2 is the longest at 7 hours and 22 minutes. So let's go get that filament loaded. Okay, so let's get some black filament, a couple of rolls of that. Okay, so we're going to print on the P1S and we're going to print on the P2S. Okay, so what I like to do first is give these plates a clean. Now I always use IPA and a microfiber cloth, and I have done from day one and I've never had a problem. And I printed myself one of these on Maker World, and what you do is you cut a piece of fibre cloth, microfiber cloth, and attach it to this, and then what you do is get some IPA. You can either spray it directly on the cloth or give a couple of sprays on there, give it a good wipe. I always make sure where that purge line first starts, I always give that a good clean, because I've had it in the past where if I've missed that front edge and the purge line has come loose as it does it, it attaches itself to your print. So we will do that on the P1S. As well. Just give it a rub basically until you see it start to evaporate, and that's plenty. And I'm also going to do one of the plates on the Bamboo A1. Same thing. Like I say, I've never had a problem using this method. I don't do the washing it in dish soap method at all, just for convenience basically. And that's all the files sent to the printers now. So see what happens in about 7 hours. Okay, so we've got our finished model now. It's all put together. And now what I want to do, the reason I did it in black is I want to use this rub and buff. It's a wax metallic paint. I've done a couple of things using this. It goes on so nice, covers well, and especially if you're doing something like this over black, it comes up amazing. And you only need a very small amount. So what we do is just, brand new is this one, so we just pop the top there, just put small piece on kitchen towel, like that. And you can either, depends on your surface, with this there's lots of nooks and crannies, so you're probably going to want to use a paintbrush for this. But if you're doing a flatter surface, you can use microfiber cloth, sponge, they all work as well. So what we're going to do is, if you've ever done dry brushing before on your paints, if you just load up your brush and then take some off like that, then I'll start on the back, you'll be able to see it a bit better, and you just brush over it. That's all you do, and this will do the surface and it'll leave deeper recesses black, giving it a really nice contrast. And as you can see, just that one brush goes a long way, gives it a nice worn metal look. Goes on really well. And the good thing is, if you put a bit too much on, you can wipe it off, take some of it off. But if you just keep working in it, getting all the little nooks and crannies, and that's about it basically. You can add more if you need to, and then you get this amazing tarnished like metal, gunmetal look, which is ideal for these kind of models. So I'll carry on, I'll speed this up because I don't want it to be boring for you. Enjoy. So there we go, that's just after one quick brush over, and all I used of this was 2 pea-sized blobs to do that whole bit. So what I'll do is I'll just give it a quick rub over with a cloth and then go over it again, give it a bit of a more pewter metal finish, but that's pretty much it. I will say this stuff does give off a bit of a pungent smell, so I'll try and use it in an open area, well ventilated, or even if you feel the need, wear a mask, respirator. I've got one, I don't, but I'm in quite an open room and the smell isn't that bad in here, so probably famous last words, but there we go. Don't do as I do. Right, so that's had a second coat now, and I think it looks pretty good, and that's all done. Very easy. Can't really go wrong with it. Right, on to the next. So I also want to print this Stranger Things Demogorgon controller stand for your controller. It does your phone as well. Again, don't want to do a multicolour print, so I'm going to print it in this eSun, and it's, if you can see that, it's a Silk Magic black gold. Used this a few times before, turns out really nice, so give that a go. I've not used it on this model before, so let's see how it goes. So that's loaded up there now, sent through to the P2S on a 0.4 nozzle, and its slice says just shy of 7 hours print. So let's get that printing. Okay, so good morning. First thing we're going to do is get the couple of prints off that we did overnight. This was the Demogorgon stand, which I'm not sure if that's printed right. I'm not too happy with that, but we'll see. Sometimes these things happen. Looks alright at first glance. And then this was a card dealer, so my wife and I play a lot of cards. And I recently made us a card shuffler, which turned out really well. And this is a card shoe for dealing your cards. So we'll get that off and I'll give that a try. Right, so I've got all the supports off this now, and as you can see, the tip of that ear mouth piece, the support failed just at the very top of it. So it's, you can see that a bit better. So the whole tip of that has failed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the whole mouth ear piece off and do a cut on the model to reprint that part and attach it. And if I do it just right, you shouldn't be able to see. Okay, but I'll show you that process. Okay, so I want to, instead of just cutting the tip of this ear, it'll look better if I can cut it right at the base, and then I'll cut that whole piece off the model, and then it'll be virtually undetectable. So I've just done that now, and what I'll do is I'll just skip back forward to show you what I did. So if you just click the cut tool and then adjust it up to get the right angle that you want. Doesn't matter about the what else you're cutting, because you're going to discard the rest of the model anyway. And then once you've got the right angle and you know whereabouts you want to cut it, make it so you can, as well, you know you can cut the model at a clean part as well, so it matches up. You just keep adjusting it until you get the right angle, and then you can perform the cut like that. And then if you right click on the model and click split to parts, that will split them all, separate them, and then right there is the ear that you want. So if you just move that onto another plate, orient it so you're printing flat side down, then you can just reprint that piece. I'll show it once it's printed and attached. Okay, so I've got the piece printed now. So it's a whole section, as you can see. So what I need to do is now cut off straight down to the base and then attach this section. So what I'm going to use to cut that is, and it's the Hozo Neo Blade. It's an ultrasonic cutting knife. Been using this for a while now, and it's really good. Cuts really nice. I'll put a link down in the description for it if anybody wants one. really good value for money, and they work really well. Right, so let's give this a try. Just going to cut where I think that cut should be. So I'll probably need to mess about, trim this up. But as you can see, it's looking pretty good straight off. Get it lined up properly and see. So let's get some glue this on, and then we can work from there. Bit of super glue activator there, speed up the process. So I think that looks pretty good. I need to do a bit of tidying up around the back. Cut off another little bit there, tidy it up, but for the most part I think that's pretty good. So I'm really pleased how that's turned out. And here we go with some touches of paint on the nails, and the claws there, and the chest, up to the head. You can see how well that mouth part attached. So, and I love this filament, comes out really nice. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. So I'm going to leave this video here because I'm fully aware it seems to be going on and on and on. Obviously I've been away for a while, so I've got a lot of content that I've been creating and then not doing anything with, so I had to stop myself, otherwise I'd have ended up doing a 4.5 hour epic. So I hope this hasn't been too boring. I hope some of it's been informative for you. If you'd like to see more content like this, please let me know in the comments. I'll link most things from the video today down below for things like the filament and models and stuff like that. But if you do like this, or you want to see anything specific, anything different, I know I mentioned I was going to speak about the P2S and that just didn't happen in this video, but I will put it in the next video. Leave me some comments, and if you do like this, please subscribe and like, and hopefully the content will keep flowing now. So speak to you soon.